Hello everyone. Welcome back. Sorry for the long absence. I've been doing a bit of traveling for some events. So, of course, life's never consistent, stable. So, I'm just rolling with it. Anyways, thanks for joining. This is Aluminum Tarot. If you like what you see here, please give a like, share, and subscribe. Ding the notification bell so that you don't miss any updates from this channel. Today we're going to be doing the Black Mirror spread. This is a spread that kind of peers into the energies regarding your last toxic or codependent or narcissistic relationship in an effort to kind of elucidate some of the major areas where I guess each person can work on themselves. So it just kind of tries to explore some of the different energies that lead to codependency, to vice, and try to understand what the lesson was that you needed to learn from the last relationship that really made a dent in your life. So once again, if you can, also keep in mind that Black Mirror actually refers to, the fact that the narcissist, the toxic person, is actually a mirror into your own soul. They try to highlight or trigger certain aspects of yourself that allow you to see, your shortcomings, your failures, or potentially the major lessons in life that you need to learn. So, these relationships, as bad as they can seem, they do tend to crack open, the soul and allow people to see the light of the things that they need to learn in this particular lifetime. That said, we're going to go ahead and get into this for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. That's again Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Let's begin. Black Mirror spread for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Cancer, Black Mirror spread, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. God, come on. Black Mirror spread, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant for Cancer. Black Mirror spread, please show me. Black Mirror spread for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Black Mirror spread for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. One more. Okay, so this is a big spread. I'm going to go ahead and lay out the cards, each of the different positions. I'll try to explain as I lay the cards out. So the first one is the lesson in this relationship. Okay. How did the relationship begin? How did the relationship proceed? How did the relationship end? Okay. What was the initial attraction? What was the intention of the other person? What was the codependency on your side, Cancer? What was the codependency on their side? How did you cope with this relationship? How did they abuse or try to do nasty stuff in the relationship? Yep. How did you begin pulling away? How did you protect yourself? How did they protect themselves? How did the person discard you? How did the cycle close out? Okay. So, that said, at the bottom of the deck, we do have the Eight of Swords. This essentially talks about, coming out of your head and essentially leaving the kind of mental turmoil that you impose on yourself. These typically refer to self-imposed restrictions or restrictions of the mind that prevent you from easily escaping, because typically in the upright, you do see that the person is, loosely bound to these swords. They're not actually tied to these swords at all. And typically, we place self-imposed restrictions on our mind by overthinking, by imagining the worst-case scenarios. In this particular situation, you're trying your best to get out of that energy, so that you can kind of see things a bit clearer. So for this, the lesson is the Queen of Wands reverse, and this can speak of one of two things: either A, you're playing the field and you don't want any kind of commitment. You don't want to be tied to anyone. Can also represent a woman who is or a feminine energy that is kind of rude, a bit crass, rough around the edges, kind of a mean girl, as they would say. Or it can speak to someone who lacks the confidence. And so maybe the lesson in all of this is to kind of learn how to treat people fairly equally. Also, to get your confidence back, especially if you're dealing with people, and learning how to be assertive in your own right. Maybe this is something that you kind of didn't do in the past, and now you're overcompensating it by being a bit brash with people when they don't necessarily deserve the treatment. And so this is kind of a balancing out kind of energy, because I do see the star here. So when this relationship began with the person, you thought that you had manifested the one, you thought you had manifested something that was lucrative and positive. As the relationship progressed, you did just kind of lose interest. Something about the person triggered you, and I think that this led to a complete loss of interest in this person. And in the ending of this relationship, you essentially just severed all ties. Normally in the upright, this is a person who's blocking someone out, not deciding on something, but in the reverse, someone has made a final decision to cut something out. And we can kind of clarify these two parts here. The Page of Wands. Why did you lose interest? Why did you lose interest? So you found out something, found out a secret. And what was the decision you made? So you made a decision to not let something end. What did you not want to end? Okay. Page of Swords at the bottom. Now there's a bit going on here. We have the Page of Wands reverse, clarified by the High Priestess reverse. This is someone who doesn't want to communicate anything, doesn't want to continue the interest, either because they found something out or there has been a secret revealed. So if you intentionally or unintentionally revealed a secret, now that this is out, I think you've decided to cut this out. But there is some issue here. The way this relationship ends, not only is there a decision to cut things out, but it seems like you're going back and forth. You're going I need to cut this out. Then I don't want this to end. I want to cut this out. Please don't let this end. And someone in this relationship, we're going to find out who it is, tried to control the situation by using a bit of narcissistic tendencies. When you get the King of Swords reversed, this is definitely the de facto narcissist card. This is a person who uses their intellect for the wrong reasons. They use them to confuse, befuddle the people that they communicate with, control them, manipulate. They can be a jerk. Sometimes they can be, a proper arsehole about things. And they do this with the intent of controlling and manipulating the subject. So this is a king who, instead of giving clarity to their subjects, they subjugate them and use manipulation tactics. So this is a proper narcissistic tendency in order to control the ending of this relationship. So I think that someone here decided that they were going to prevent this situation from ending by using manipulative tactics. This is not the way to go, and we're going to find out exactly who it is. So initially, the attraction here, Cancer, you found that you may have been in a place of healing, and you may have been in a place where you didn't want to entertain any kind of relationship, especially something that was serious, for the simple reason that you have a very guarded heart in all of this, and this is very typical of the Cancer, being in their shell, not allowing the outside world to penetrate, the exterior, the cold exterior that they tend to put off. Cancers can be kind of rough around the edges sometimes if they don't want to open their heart to someone, and if they choose not to open their heart, then they can be a very standoffish, like any of the different water signs. That said, the person that you encountered, I guess their intention, I don't know if their intentions were a bit unclear. And we're going to pull a card here just to see exactly what that refers to. Yeah. So you have the moon and the sun reversed. No, yeah, the moon and the sun reversed. I wasn't expecting that. So when you have the moon, that indicates something that is not clear. That is also something where you have to use your intuition, because the sun here is essentially, the sun reverse is something that is unclear or has not been illuminated yet, or sometimes it can just indicate an unhappy person. So the person you're dealing with, it feels like they were going through a very depressive state at the time. I'm not sure exactly what caused it, but whatever it was, okay, we're going to pull some cards again. What caused this person to be in a depressive state? Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, wow. Okay. The Hierophant at the bottom. The person you were dealing with, Cancer. It seems like they were in the blues. They were not in a very good headspace. They were very unhappy, and they were also playing the field to kind of, as a response, kind of like a trigger or a kind of coping mechanism. Now, this isn't in the coping section, but we can see that this person specifically played the field, was very inconsistent because they were going through some kind of, I'm going to say, mental problems or mental illness, especially dealing with kind of depression or a very confused state. Now, the coping mechanism that the codependency that you had was that at the time, you were doing your best to heal from a previous situation, and you were just doing your best to try to balance between the water and the earth, which is essentially trying to make sure that you were grounded, balanced, and fair, kind of focusing on yourself. I think that for you, my intuition tells me that you were looking for the one, and you were looking for something that was solid. But the problem is that when you do this, typically you will not entertain a lot of people, and you will not be very open to allow certain people in. So there was this kind of exterior that you were posing to people, that all you wanted to do was heal. You wanted to keep your heart guarded and heal until you found the right one. Whereas sometimes it's just a good idea to kind of let your hair down and, be a bit more open to things rather than keeping this guarded exterior. It's important. It's, at least in this particular situation, you're codependent, or you have a preoccupation with healing yourself and being guided by the divine, which is not bad at all. Everyone should focus on their own healing. However, not everyone is going to be 100%, and not everyone is going to be 100% the right person. We tend to think of this myth that everyone is going to be perfect, and the problem is perfection doesn't allow us to actually find the right people that we're with. Your person that comes in could be broken, but they could be the right person. Contradictorily, that's a wrong word. Contrastly, or comparatively, on the other hand, vis-a-vis, whatever, the person that isn't the right person for you could appear that way. They could appear amazing, and then they break your heart, or they deceive you, or they just lose interest in you. So it's really a teetering. It's really a teeter between what works and what doesn't. I think that you just have to use your intuition on that. Be guided by the North Star, your intuition. This is the same star that's used in the Hermit card that guides the Hermit through the dark period and that dark night of the soul. Now, in their particular spread, what we see here, their coping mechanism is just shutting down. Because they're going through this really difficult mental battle right now. They're not willing to open up, and they're not going to communicate to you effectively. So they have the 8 of Wands reversed, you have the 9 of Wands as to how you see it. So I think already you see that this person is kind of putting you off a bit and not being consistent in their communication if they're not being communicative at all. And one thing I do notice here is that we have 1 wand here in the Knight of Wands hand, and then the 8 of Wands here, that is the 9 of Wands here. And so their inconsistency, their lack of communication, and their in and out behavior is actually putting you off. This is a bad way to start a relationship. And I think that you saw that coming. Moving on, we see the coping mechanism that you have here is that this could be 2 things. So you have the 6 of Wands reverse. One of the things that you could have used to cope with this kind of relationship is, number one, just not feeding it any attention, just backing away and not engaging with this person. When you saw that they weren't speaking or communicating with you, you just stopped and disengaged. Conversely, you could have just chalked this relationship up to as being a failure and not wanting to entertain it any further because you knew that it probably was a bad idea to entertain it in the first place. You kind of saw the signs coming. There was no attention being given to you, so you're just disengaged from the relationship altogether. That said, the way this person kind of manipulated and abused you, we do have here the 4 of Pentacles and the Page of Cups reverse. Now, these 2 cards together indicate a person who closed off again and did not show you any kind of love, did not communicate any kind of affection or anything, didn't flirt with you, didn't want to do anything. This is a very broken person, and I'm feeling that energy in this particular spread. Like, for me, a person who's in their headspace, not, they're playing the field to kind of cope with this sadness that they're feeling, this emptiness. They're not speaking to you, and then they're not speaking to you, and they're holding back. This person is a fucking prick, to say the least. And I would empathize normally with people, but my empathy chip is broken these days. I will get an upgrade one day later on. Until then, fuck this. This is not the way you should be treated. Now, moving on, the way you kind of approach this situation as time progressed, and then you begin to back away from this relationship, you just decided to shut down yourself. Okay, you've got the Four of Pentacles here. Well, I'm going to put you in the Five of Pentacles by adding my pentacle, Knight of Pentacles. So that puts, you decided to close off to them and put them out in the cold by just blocking everything out, not communicating, not moving forward, deciding that basically things had gotten as bad as they could, and there was no reason to proceed anything further with this relationship. Now, this person, of course, responds with their narcissistic tendencies by trying to provoke you, by turning their back on you and waiting for something new to come in. That, again, is a very childish way to do things. So you have the Eight of Wands reverse and then the Three of Wands. 8 plus 3 is 11. Then you have one more wand up here, 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 of Wands. Turning their back and waiting for something else. That's how they made you feel. They made you feel like you didn't matter. On your end, you have the 9 of Wands, and then the 6 of Wands. 9 plus 6 is 15. 1 plus 5 is 6 of Wands. So we have an energy that is very consistent on both ends. You have the Three of Wands as the main focus for the action that took place in this relationship, and then you have the 6 of Wands that was the main point of action for this relationship. They turn their back on you, and then they try to look for something else to fill this empty void that they've got going on in their life. And in your specific situation, your idea is to just see this as a complete failure and an utter cock up, and decide to, withdraw your attention from them. This is a very toxic relationship. This is not a very healthy relationship. Communication is key. And unfortunately, some people have rusty locks. So even with the key, it's not going to get in at all. Moving forward, you disengage from this relationship when you saw things that gotten as bad as they got. 10 of Swords. This person, when you realized there was no saving this relationship, you just let it die. You moved out. You packed your bags and left. You moved forward with your life because you realized it was as bad as it was going to get. And if you stayed any longer, it would probably be the end of you. Thankfully, there is a dawn of a new day in this, because even in the 10 of Swords, we see that there's a person with a dawn rising in the background beneath the black clouds. So all is not lost. There will be a time where you come out of this and you begin to start a new path. Meanwhile, this person here, the way they detach from you, this is the everything is fine card. It's like they're trying to get over the heartache. They didn't want to show you that this affected them a bit more than it really did. But typically when I see this indicates disappointment from something that was lost, but the Two of Cups is behind them and they do have the opportunity to grasp a new path. And this, I don't even think this person has even taken that path. I get an energy of a person who revels in their disappointment, their disgust, their disdain, their emotions. This is a very broken person. I keep feeling that in this. And I don't think this is the type of person that can give anyone the time of day. It's like, why the hell are you even in a relationship? Why are you entertaining people when you know that you're so broken that there's nothing you can give to any of these people? Queen of Wands reverse, Knight of Wands reverse, Eight of Wands reverse, turning your back with the Three of Wands. It's like, what the fuck are you doing in a relationship to begin with? We need to really consider that. And I think that this person knows that. But here they are, playing these bloody games with you. They are deciding not to let the energy die and to be narcissistic because of a deep-seated lack within their own selves. This is a very disappointing person. I think you know that, Cancer. This could be vice versa. If you're dealing with a Cancer that treated you this way, then so be it. This is that's the energy that resonates best with you. So in all of this, what we see is a relationship that broke down. No one's taken any chances with anyone, and essentially this relationship died a rather swift death. At least that was good. But now you have the chance to move on. You have the ability to take something from this, not to entertain people who treat you in this manner, because from the early onset, you knew that there was something wrong with this person. And I think that you knew that it was not a good idea to proceed with this relationship. You may have tested the waters a little bit with it, but you knew this person was not worth your energy and not your time or attention. And you bailed out. You bailed out with that full reversed. That's really all I can say about this. I mean, this is going to be a slightly shorter one. But yeah, don't take shit from anyone. And do you. Don't invite narcissists into your life. A vampire needs to be invited in order to do damage. Anyways, this has been Aluminum Tarot. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this content, please like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the updates. Additionally, if you would like a personal reading, feel free to reach out to me at the website in the description box below. I'll be sure to help you with that. Thank you so much again for your time and attention. I do appreciate all the likes, shares, and subscribes. I want to grow this channel. I do want to make this into something that's a bit, that can get a bigger reach and to reach more people to hopefully get the messages out. That's what I'm doing this for. Thanks again, and all the best. And I hope the next relationship you get into, if you've not gotten into one already, is a happy and healthy one. Not this. Bye now.